welcome to another episode of The Platform. Super cool to catch up with Cindy Cowan, who's been making films and been in the entertainment biz for a long time over in LA. She's super nice. She's a friend on Facebook, and I asked her if she'd be on the show. She said yes, and we filmed this. And so we have Cindy Cowan on the show. Thanks for your time.
Hi, nice to be here.
We're talking Skype, and that's the beauty of technology. You're on the other side of the world in LA, but whereabouts in LA are you right now?
I'm in West Hollywood.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay, cool. The show I do is all about stories, and I'm imagining your story to be pretty epic. So how did it start out for you? I mean, you're a Hollywood film producer, but you've written songs, and where did it all start?
So I actually was not supposed to be in this business. I started in psychology. I actually went to Tulane undergraduate, Harvard graduate, got a degree in psychology, and then took that infamous year off and started producing news in Miami and for the late night news, and ended up quitting one day over a story I didn't want to cover, which was a little boy who had gotten decapitated in Hollywood, Florida. And in my time off, I ended up writing a song. It went top 10 through all of Europe. It was Simon Cowell's first artist. It was just a fluke, and her name was Sunita. And
how do you end
it
up
was a fluke.
How do you end up just writing a song, though?
Just to let you guys know, I fall up. No.
Obviously, you had the idea for a while to do a song, or did you just sit down one day and think,
No, somebody came to me and had music, and they said, I wrote copy so quickly for CBS. Was there a way that I could write copy for their song? And I loved music. For whatever reason, I had perfect song structure. I knew where the bridge went, where the chorus went. I sent it to a friend I had met my junior abroad in London. I never thought it would go further. I never thought anybody would take this. And he called me up and said, do you have a publishing company? And I said, no. And he said, well, then start one right now. We want this song. We actually want a second one. And I quickly wrote a second song and jump-started my music career.
Wow, that's awesome. So that's exciting in itself. But then how does film come to be in the picture?
So I moved to Los Angeles. I was a runaway bride. Moved to Los Angeles as a songwriter and ended up writing another song for a man named Engelbert Humperdinck, and then another song that went to number 3 in the R&B charts for a group called Shalimar that was very big over in the United States. And at the time that I was living in Los Angeles, I just started getting more and more actor connected. Knew I needed a job, and although songwriting and people were taking my music, it was not, I don't know why anybody was taking my stuff, so it was not going to be a living for the future. And so I started as a PA and went all the way up, realized I could do this, took all the money that I had from writing music and put it into a company. Didn't know if the company was going to work or not. I said if it didn't work, I would go get married, and if it did work, I would sell it one day, and it worked.
Wow.
So,
and some of those projects, which I've seen on your website, I mean, a film like Very Bad Things, which is one of my favorites.
Thank you.
What was it like being involved in that one?
Thank you. That was great. That was a script nobody wanted. I'm warped, and I did. I ended up going and meeting Peter Berg. I walked on the set of, I think he was on Chicago Hope at the time. We had a very strange meeting. I showed up. He was dressed as Elvis Presley getting ready to do a scene. And I said, I want to finance your movie. And nobody else did. So he was thrilled. I did. We both were very actor connected. So we called all of our friends. I think I knew Christian Slater. He knew Cameron Diaz. I knew Daniel Stern. He knew Jon Favreau. And we went off and just had a great time. And that movie, we were the hangover before the hangover.
The bride.
You have to pick up the cake.
Don't we have somebody to do that?
Yeah, you.
The groom.
I bet you didn't forget the bachelor party checks.
The best man.
It's 5 guys, $900.
The stripper's here. Excellent.
This is Tina.
The problem.
A slip.
And she's dead.
There are always options.
You left a dead prostitute in the desert?
It's a 105-pound problem.
Can't do this. We've already done this.
And that worked.
It has worked. It is working.
What have we done?
What have we done? What did you do?
Have you done this before?
This fall.
I just turned your little pathetic ass in.
I am not canceling this
I
wedding.
don't want you to.
I want to know what happened in Vegas.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened in Vegas.
Some very good people
It's gonna take out my minivan.
are doing some very bad things.
We were very, very bad.
Here comes the Wahoo.
While you're at it, just get rid of that dog.
killed a dog?
Christian Slater,
This is a situation that defies judgment.
Cameron Diaz.
This is my day!
Very Bad Things, a Peter Berg film.
That ought to be about the end of that.
Yeah, it's a classic film, big time. And then a
That's
film
great.
like, Traffic. What's the story behind that? Because that was quite successful, a few Oscars there.
Yeah, Traffic got 4 Oscars. So I decided I wanted to sell my company. In 5 years that I had it, we either bought, financed, or produced 25 movies, and I quite honestly was burned out.
Wow.
I never had a holiday in 5 years. I was either on a film set or I started looking at the Cannes Film Festival as a holiday, but it wasn't because I had to do a lot of work there. And I wanted to sell. I needed a movie to sell the company on to up my price. And the movie Traffic was around. It was available. That movie had been out there for 11 years and nobody wanted it. And it was, again, something that I just said, I'll take it. I think this is the perfect movie to sell on. And it worked. I don't think anybody realized it was going to get Oscar noms. But again, we were kind of ahead of our time with that.
There are a lot of interests in this town. FBI, CIA, DEA, ATF, IRS. Right now, they're scared of you.
I know everyone that you're going to meet. I know what they want and why.
Anything else?
No, sir. They brought him to Washington to win a war.
Will we get invited to the White House?
Well, I don't know about that, honey.
None of my friends can freaking believe my dad's actually the drug czar. What is going on?
We need to take down one of these cartels.
They took her husband to send a message.
What is going on? They came into the house. They just took him away.
The DEA has got it. Do not discuss anything over the telephone.
How am I going to survive this?
They apprehended a witness to win their case.
We hire drivers with nothing to lose and throw a lot of product at the problem. This has worked for years.
I have actual dreams about this, about busting the top people, rich people, white people.
And they paid an informant to get the truth.
In Mexico, law enforcement is an entrepreneurial activity.
You should feel good about this. I feel like a traitor.
But the war they thought they had won
You might want to pencil in a little FaceTime with your daughter.
See, now you see.
Let's do some more.
is just beginning.
How stressful is it to be a producer in the film business?
It's pretty stressful. I have a love-hate with it. I'm back, in a big way now. I had retired for over 6 years. I got totally out of the business, and I just had to. I think for a girl especially, to be gone for 3 or 4 months at a time, to be sitting on a set, I'm the first one there, I'm the last one to leave. It's not glamorous like some people think at all. When the film is over, I'm in an editing room, and once it's done editing, I'm translating it into every language for it to go out to whatever country it's going out to. So I have a love-hate with it. On the other hand, I've been all around the world, and I know some of the most amazing people, and it's done very well by me. So, but it's stressful and hard to keep a normal relationship and all those things that you think normality is.
We get a lot of press around the world, especially here in Australia recently, about the Me Too movement and a lot of things that have happened in Hollywood and stories coming out. I can only imagine with you running a company, dealing with all these people, you must have some pretty interesting stories yourself.
Yeah.
Is it really hard, super hard? I mean...
I won't go into a lot of the Me Too movement because a lot of my friends have gone down. Sadly, I've had friends that have started the Me Too movement, and rightfully so, they've had things they needed to get off their chest, and I've had really good friends of mine that will never work again, and I'm shocked because they were really good friends of mine. So I'm kind of in the middle of both. I can say being a girl has not been bad for me. I've always said sometimes being a girl gets you in the door. The trick is to be smart enough to stay there once you're in the room. And I've always been smart enough to be in the room in a professional way. I'm not going to show up at a hotel at 3 a.m, and I'm not going to take, do I have some Me Too stories on my own? 100%. Would I, do I want to come out with them? No, I'm a big girl, and, but I applaud the ones that have come out. So I'm right there in the middle of it.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, talking about Hollywood moments then, I'd love to ask you about your favourite. Like, have you had a moment, I'm sure there's been plenty, but is there one for you that's a Hollywood moment, whether you're hanging out with someone that you totally admire or something crazy's happened? Is there a favourite one for you so far in Hollywood?
So many favourites. I don't know what my favorite would be. I think being in Cannes with Bono, who had just done the title song for Traffic, was pretty surreal. I'm a huge music fanatic, and Bono's about as cool as you can get. And so, and it was part of our own film, so that was pretty amazing.
Right, okay. So since you sold that company, then you started your own. I mean, you've made films with people like Robert De Niro and stuff, what's it called Red Lights. What's it like working with someone like him?
He's great. That's the good part about the business. I get to disappear and go to Barcelona with Robert De Niro or Cillian Murphy or Elizabeth Olsen but they're just all people to me. So I liked Bob. He was Bob. I'm on my first name basis. He was great. He was really, really good. We're about to get into the TV business, and I'm hoping to bring him in the next project that we're doing. So it's pretty amazing. That's the surreal part about this business, that some of these household names become lifelong friends.
Simon Silver, perhaps the most celebrated psychic of all time, will visit us here in just under 3 weeks. There will be a mad rush for tickets.
Are there no real challenges left out there?
Silver is a real challenge.
Silver's already been investigated.
Yeah, like 30 years ago. We should investigate him now.
Tom, there's certain things it's better not to know.
He's dangerous, Tom. Stay away from him.
There's only one way of gaining access to the truth.
You've got no idea what you're getting yourself into!
That's what I was going to ask you about, like advice you'd have for young people that maybe want to be in the business, maybe even to be a producer, because it seems to be completely changing with Netflix and more towards TV. I mean, the dream still, I'm sure for a lot of people, is a cinema, get their movie in a cinema, but it seems to be changing. What advice would you have for people starting out now?
I think one of the things I would say to people, and I have this argument with people now, is to get out of your head that it needs to be theatrical, because it doesn't. Sometimes your movie will be much better served to be on Netflix or Amazon or these new streaming platforms. Unfortunately, less and less people are going to theaters. They're becoming an experience. And so theaters are becoming all about Marvel and DC and these larger-than-life experiences that you have to go see, in a theater. The problem is if you don't make a movie that performs in the first week, your family is going to see it and maybe some of your relatives. So more and more people I know are watching things at home. Netflix and chill. There's a name for that for a reason. And, your movie's out there for a long time. And the Netflix, the Amazons, we now have Disney. Apple just announced, if you saw the names that Apple just announced, it's everybody from Steven Spielberg to Reese Witherspoon to Oprah Winfrey. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about coming out on the streaming platforms anymore. And their budgets are equally as big. Wow. So, I love it. We personally, my next couple of films are in the studio world, and I'm grateful for that, but I hope to be in the streaming world very soon as well.
Nice. And so what do you know about Australia? Have you been out here?
I have. I spent 5 Christmas New Years there.
Wow.
And loved it. I know. I fell in love with Sydney a while ago, and that's my home away from home.
And what do you think about the Australian talent that seems to be just always coming through? Aren't you working with one of our boys right now?
Which one? I don't know. I can never remember who's from where.
Who's Thor's brother? I'm having a name slip.
Oh, Liam. Yes, Liam just did a movie that we finished, so I did. I love Australia, and I love Australian talent. I have to say, sometimes the Australian talent and the British talent just blows me away. I think that the amount of dedication and work that sometimes the students and the actors do overseas is a little bit more intensive than what we do. And so some of your actors just blow me away. What's really amazing to me is the accents. I mean, I have friends of mine that you cannot tell that they are from Australia or England or any of these countries that they're from. Their accents are just flawless. So I applaud them all. It's amazing.
If there was one film that you wish that you could have been behind, what would it be? If you saw a film that you love so much, you think, I wished I was involved in that.
Probably Schindler's List.
Wow.
Let me just shoot for the stars and they're right there. Let me just shoot for the stars and say, yeah, me and Steven. I just think that was a perfect movie. That's one of the movies that I look at and I say that was a perfect movie.
Oh, that's hard to watch that one.
It's hard to watch, but it was a perfect movie.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I love asking people, Cindy, about like chasing the ultimate dream. So, what's the ultimate dream for you? If you haven't lived it so far, then what's your the biggest dream if you could live it?
The ultimate dream. We didn't win Best Picture, so the ultimate dream was to get the Oscar. Working towards doing that. I'm very into charity now, so I always have been, but it's taking me more and more around the world. So I'm actually back in the business so that I can do more for charity and make more money and go out there.
You won a big award, right, for your charity? I saw that.
I did. I got the Win Award, which was Meryl Streep's award. It was it was huge. And I think this year I found out on Twitter that I'm getting Humanitarian of the Year award. It's amazing that I found out on Twitter, but I'm getting that this year. So
wow,
yeah,
congratulations. So tell us quickly about your charities then that you're involved with.
I'm involved with a bunch of them. I was the West Coast chair for 8 years of a charity called Little Kids Rock, and we give musical instruments to impoverished children, a lot of them from drug addict families or gangs, with the hope of once they get an instrument, they have to stay in music school 5 days a week after regular school lets out. So we monitor potential gang activity, drug use, etc. Wow. It helps right and left brain thinking. We try to get them at an early age and take them all the way through high school. I've been involved with a charity that is called We Care Solar, and they're amazing. They provide solar suitcases to hospitals in third world countries so that operating rooms can be lit. And it's absolutely amazing because I don't know the statistical number, but the amount of deaths in darkness is astounding because they absolutely have no way to light up operating rooms. And so these solar suitcases will light an operating room up for up to 5 years.
Wow.
And it's incredible. And they only cost $5,000 to do it. So that's been near and dear to my heart. I was involved with the group Lincoln Park for a while, and that was about another charity where we would look for natural or any kinds of disasters, basically, that we would go in and without waiting for regular sanctions to come across, we would go in and drop, anything, be it blankets or food or money or whatever was needed. Project Angel Food is something that's, I think, based in the United States. We provide food to people that can no longer leave their homes because they're so sick. And sometimes it's the only meal that they'll get, and sometimes it's the only company that they'll get. So I love charity. I need to keep making a lot more money so I can keep giving it away.
Oh, that's awesome. So awesome. And speaking of awesome, I don't know, I saw on your Facebook you did a photo shoot for a magazine at your house. Your house looks pretty epic.
Thank you. Thank you. I did. I was in OK Magazine last year. They did 9 pages on me. And I've got a magazine, my first cover. I'm a cover girl now, which is coming out April 15th. And that will also show a lot more about me in the house and everything.
But you've got some pretty interesting sort of neighbours too, right?
I do. Up until a month ago, had David Beckham, who was on one side of me. And that was great. And my girlfriends were all incredibly jealous. And if you're in the United States, there's a very big late night talk show host called Jay Leno, who's probably our biggest, and he's directly behind me. And actually up the street, although I don't get to see him often because it's his West Coast house, I have Bruce Springsteen. So that's the beauty of living in LA. We get kind of amazing neighbors.
You've got those neighbours. I've got a guy that just mows his lawn constantly 3 times a week, so all I hear is noise. Look, thank you so much for your time. It's been really fun getting you on the show, and can't wait to see all your future projects, and I hope you win the big one.
Thank you so much. You were my first Skype, so I'm a little backwards with that, so I hope I did well. I hope I'm even looking where I'm supposed to. I don't know if I'm supposed to be there or there. So wherever I'm supposed to be, I hope I did it right.
No, it's perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
Cool. Bye. So there she is, an amazing story, right? And I'm sure there's going to be some awesome projects coming out in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the platform.